Greetings, and welcome to the Bureau of Street Lighting Museum and Archive display. You will see many of the city's antique lighting fixtures, some that are still used today. First, a brief history. The earliest street lights that were installed in Los Angeles, circa 1867, consisted of the 43 gas lamp poles along Main Street. A total of 136 gas lamps had been installed by the early 1880s by the Los Angeles Gas Works or Company, depending on the source. And in 1882, the first electric streetlights were installed in the downtown area. These were 150-foot tall towers with carbon arc lamps. Then, Mayor James Toberman turned on that system on December 31st of that year. Approximately 32 towers were installed between 1882 and 1885 by the California Electric Company or Los Angeles Electric Company, depending on the source. Next, looking around the room in front of the windows is the centerpiece. It is a General Electric number 104 two-piece plain white glass globe. The ultraviolet rays from within and sunlight have caused the glass to turn a slight shade of lavender coloring. This globe is mounted on a concrete extension pole, which was used to replace the original and deteriorated two light concrete arms to maintain the same or similar mounting height for the Marbalite or Lalux concrete poles. To the left is a cast iron time switch controller which housed the astronomical mechanical time switch, allowing access from the street level to turn on the street lights on or off manually. These were installed by the Bureau of Power and Light, then a part of the Department of Public Works. The Bureau of Power and Light was created circa 1911, and then in 1925 the lighting section was separated from the utility section to create the Bureau of Street Lighting in the Department of Public Works. To the left, in the corner, is what was known as one of the cluster lights. These multi-lamp cast iron poles were installed mostly on Main Street, Spring Street, Grand Avenue, Olive Street, Figueroa Street, many of the numbered cross streets in the downtown area, Hollywood Boulevard, Avalon Boulevard, and Wilmington. These particular Llewellyn poles were installed on Main Street and Spring Street circa 1905 by the Los Angeles Edison Electric Company or by the Los Angeles Gas and Electric Company, depending on the source. Also, other multi-lamp styles were installed at other locations within the city during the same time period and up to the mid-1910s and teen years. Hanging on the wall above is a utilitarian-type lighting fixture known as a radio light, which was an earlier form of lighting without the globe portion, which would be installed by the Bureau of Power and Light circa 1915 up to the 1930s on the wooden utility poles or suspended cables. Next is one of the only 5 lights in the city owned by this bureau on redwood poles with a special aluminum square black hanging lantern installed circa 1915 or 1924 on Bronson Avenue, depending on the source. The special cast iron arm from which this lantern is hanging is not from the Bronson Avenue installation, but from the Hobart Boulevard special cast iron pole, which was originally installed circa 1916 in the West Adams Heights area. Next is a shepherd's crook type arm with a pendant General Electric number 25 globe with its basket, which was installed between 1928 and 1933 on Benedict Canyon Drive on the Union Metal 895-S cast iron and steel pole. The post-top mounted lanterns below are the following. Positioned at the right is a cast iron General Electric Form 18-A lantern installed mostly on residential area cast iron and steel poles. Positioned at the center is a cast iron General Electric Form 18-B lantern installed mostly on single light and double light cast iron and steel poles on the arterial streets in the Hollywood area and elsewhere. And positioned on the left is a bronze General Electric Form 23 lantern installed on where the 4th Street and Lorena Street bridges meet on special 2-light concrete bridge poles, as well as the Olympic Boulevard, which was originally known as the 9th Street Bridge, over the Los Angeles River on special 2-light or 4-light concrete bridge poles. Next, you will see some globes. On the shelf, there is a General Electric 2-piece glass globe with a brass decorative band and a Westinghouse Paragon Jr. 2-piece glass globe without its frame. Below, there are a General Electric number 199 and a Raylight number 13 one-piece acorn-style glass globes. These lower globes are both mounted on two different versions of the concrete extension poles that were mentioned earlier. To the left of the doors on the shelf is a Westinghouse Paragon Senior two-piece glass globe with its brass frame. The Westinghouse globes have a distinct chevron pattern in the glass. In the corner, there is a General Electric Form 19-B pendant lantern with its arm support bracket. This brass lantern is similar to the cast iron post-dot version, but this hangs from its canopy. These larger sizes were installed at the entrances to the vehicle tunnels around the city. For example, Glendale Boulevard Tunnel under Sunset Boulevard, or the Macy Street, now Cesar Chavez Avenue, tunnel under the railroad tracks to the Union Station. A smaller cast iron version of these pendant lanterns was used in the Holmby Hills area. The large bronze lantern in the corner, the Ventura Special, was installed circa 1930 to 1931 on Ventura Boulevard and Cahuenga Boulevard West from the Hollywood Bowl area at Highland Avenue all the way to Sepulveda Boulevard in Sherman Oaks. They were also used on many bridges over the Los Angeles River, for example, the Fletcher Drive Bridge pylons, the Washington Boulevard Bridge pylons, and the revamped and current 7th Street Bridge. On the shelf to the left is a lantern and two globes. Positioned at the right is a Lalux 1005 brass lantern, which was installed circa 1946 in the Brentwood area on the Westinghouse Edgewater 12 cast iron poles or the Keystone La Primavera cast iron poles. Positioned at the center is a Crystalite Neolite 91 two-piece glass globe with its brass frame, which was installed on Santa Monica Boulevard from the Beverly Hills city border to the Sepulveda Boulevard on the Union Metal 8705 cast iron steel poles. Positioned at the left is a King 417 two-piece glass globe with its brass frame, which was installed circa 1933 on Flower Street from Washington Boulevard to 38th Street on the southwest 1806 two-light cast iron poles. Below the shelf are three lanterns. Positioned at the right is the General Electric Novalux brass lantern, which was installed circa 1929 on the Dayton Avenue, now Riverside Drive Bridge, and circa 1936 on the Figueroa Street Bridge over the Los Angeles River. Positioned at the center is a General Electric Venetian aluminum lantern, which was installed on several bridges in San Pedro, Wilmington, etc. Positioned at the left is a General Electric Novalux brass lantern, which was installed circa 1931 on the 6th Street Bridge over the Los Angeles River. Next, on the left, is a Lalux 3071 aluminum lantern, which was installed circa 1930 on Verdugo Road from the Glendale city border to York Boulevard on a Lalux 71 concrete poles. On the wall above is a Westinghouse University cast iron lantern and arm bracket, which was installed on San Fernando Road. Next is the special arm frame and General Electric 81-D plain pendant luminaire, which was installed circa 1939 on the center divider of Lancashire Boulevard north of Vaux Street in the North Hollywood area on Marvelite 485-M-23 concrete octagonal poles. To the left is the entire upper section for the Union Metal 40314 cast iron and fluted steel pole, complete with the top ornament, which is a bowl of fruit, the special straight ornamental arm, which has a dragon's or lion's head for the top of the scrolling portion, and a General Electric 81-D ornate pendant luminaire, which is similar to the previous fixture but has the extra part making it an ornate fixture. These original poles were installed between 1939 and 1950 on Olympic Boulevard in the Boyle Heights, downtown Wilshire, Olympic Park, and West Los Angeles areas. In the corner is a Hollywood 3-light and 5-star aluminum fixture, which was installed circa 1960 on Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street with a Hollywood Walk of Fame. They were removed in 2005 for the newer and retro lighting system that exists there. The next upper section shows the various stages of more modern lighting fixtures in the city, a change from the mostly post-top and upward lights to the now Cobra-style fixtures. On the right is a General Electric Form 400, an early luminaire style with a mercury vapor lamp. Next, a Westinghouse OV-style luminaire with a metal halide lamp. Next, an American Electric luminaire with a high-pressure sodium vapor lamp. And two new light-emitting diode, or LED, residential fixtures. The first being a Leotech, an early version, and the second on the far left is a Beta Cree. The center section shows a display of lamps used for street lighting, from the incandescent lamp with its tungsten filament to the high-intensity discharge or HID lamps, which include mercury vapor with its clear inner glass tube, metal halide with its clear inner glass tube with the white ends, and high-pressure sodium vapor with its opaque inner glass tube. The frosted white deluxe mercury vapor or metal halide lamps were used to control the lighting color as desired. The bottom section shows a couple of area pieces. Positioned at the far right is the Chinatown Special Dragon modern post-top lantern. To the left of it is a replica of the Westwood 59 base. The newer and smaller version of this still shows the blue and yellow tiles for UCLA, as did its much larger, very ornate, heavier, approximately 1-ton cast iron predecessor. Next are the Union Metal 1610 base parts and lower fluted steel shaft section, showing a cross-section of the tie rod and anchor bolt mounting method. These poles were installed on various bridges and special locations in the city, like the Soto Street Bridge over Valley Boulevard and both the Centinela Avenue and Inglewood Boulevard bridges over the Bolana Creek, which the Centinela Avenue equipment has been removed. Also, these were on Figueroa Street between the tunnels, of which now is known as the Pasadena Freeway or Arroyo Seco Parkway. All of this equipment is now removed. On the far left are the Union Metal 1747 base parts and lower fluted steel shaft section, showing a cross-section of the reinforcing pipe mounting method. These poles were installed on many streets, including La Cienega Boulevard, Flower Street, Grand Avenue, Hope Street, Olive Street, and many of the numbered cross streets in the downtown area, etc. And that concludes this portion of our audio presentation. We would like to thank you very much for joining us today and visiting our historical street lighting display.